Recording. Oh, it is. Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're conducting an information interview with Monica of Microsoft. Hi there, Monica.
Hi, guys. Well, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So, like Mark was saying, my name is Monica. I've been working for Microsoft for coming up on 6 years now. I started July 1st of 2014. I initially started working at the Glendale Galleria Microsoft store because back then, not only did we have the big stores, but we had specialty stores. I'm pretty much maintain the role of product advisor, in which what we do is we help customers come in and find the right solution of device that they need, whether they're a student, whether they're a business customer, or just an everyday user of any sort of technology, whether it's just checking emails, watching Netflix of the sort. My job is to help you to find the best device for you, find the right solution. Funny enough, around the time that I started working at Microsoft, we had just launched our Surface Pro 3.
Oh,
and just to kind of paint a picture of how far it's come about, now we just have launched our Surface Pro 7 in November, same with our Laptop 3, and we just released our Surface Book 3 earlier last month. So I've been with the company for quite a bit. We've kind of seen a whole bunch of transformation when it comes to different lines of products that we have available. We just did a refresh for our Office programs, and now it's called Microsoft 365, in which you get the same programs, but more services included with it. I started working at the Century City store last summer. I now work with Carly Torres. She's currently the community development specialist, so I help her a lot with facilitating, organizing community. And the pandemic that has struck, since it has hit, I've kind of been given more of an opportunity to lean into that role of assisting Carla with community outreach, helping facilitate all kinds of workshops and making sure we deliver content from as vast as understanding how to use our Office or Microsoft programs, so like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, to something as like vast and exciting as taking a tour of the Smithsonian, or even learning how to code using Minecraft and make code as a way to make your own video games. So with Microsoft, I've really had the pleasure of leaning in towards having more community development outreach and just giving back by delivering all these cool, exciting services and workshops that we essentially offer for free for the community to really learn and expand the just exciting stuff that you guys can do. But that's mostly what I do at Microsoft, and I love every second of it. I love working with the community. I love doing workshops. I feel that there's something really inspiring others to try something new. Especially with technology. Technology is a huge forefront, a huge tool that we're going to see never go away, I believe, because technology is really keeping us maintaining our livelihoods nowadays. It's how we're able to work from home right now, and it's how we're able to communicate with each other too using technology. So by having those resources and having the community have access to those resources and take advantage of those free classes, I feel like it really helps empower people to just feel like they can use technology to really elevate themselves. So that's one thing that I admire about Microsoft's mission, is that we're allowing ourselves to spread that word, with lack of a better term, is just spread that awareness and really empowering folks.
Oh, nice. All right. Hey, Tremaine, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. She answered most of them, but I'll stick to what I got.
Okay.
All right. How would you grade yourself overall and your work experience?
That's a very good question, actually. I mean, I've definitely come a long way, because fun fact, actually, before I started working for Microsoft, I worked at a nonprofit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Boys and Girls Club. I worked at the location in LA, because I know they have quite a bit of locations in the greater Los Angeles area. I worked in one that's located in Cypress Park. So I was working there for close to 4.5, almost 5 years as well before I transitioned to Microsoft. And there was just always something that I had more captivating towards helping out the community than really caring about numbers. So overall, I'd like to think that I've maintained my my desire of just trying to really help better people versus trying to upsell them and tell them like, hey, you got to get the latest and greatest. And I would think that since starting, because mind you, funny enough, like how I mentioned to you guys that I started working at Microsoft when we had the Surface Pro 3 launch.
Yeah.
They onboarded me for 2 days, and then because we were short staffed and it was a huge product launch, they kind of threw me into the floor and had me start selling, even though I didn't really know most of what I was doing.
Wow.
I would say that when it comes to thinking quickly on my feet, I've definitely improved, because when I was in Glendale, before the Glendale store closed, I was also a key holder. So I ended up taking on a role not of just helping out every single customer that comes into the store versus kind of like shyly waiting aside and waiting if they have any questions. It really helped me get out of my comfort zone to be more proactive versus just kind of standing by waiting for something to happen. And it got to the point where when I started acting as a key holder, I took on more leadership responsibilities, which when you go from being a team player to being a team leader, it really kind of shows just character build. So I really have quite an admiration for my store manager at that time for giving me that opportunity to be a team leader. So the fact that I was able to undertake that for 1.5 years, I would say has definitely elevated me. So if I were to give myself a fair grade, because I don't want to seem like I'm tooting my own horn either, probably I would say like a 90%, which was like a B plus, something like that. I mean, I obviously have ways to go. I feel like with any human being, there's always room for opportunity. There's always room for growth. So in my best belief is that you can never stop learning. There's never a limit to how much you can learn and how much you can grow. But just with how I went from being kind of the shy little salesperson to undertaking more of a leadership role and now kind of helping be a leader within the community, I would probably say that I've definitely marginally improved overall my communication and my confidence skills. So I would say I'll probably give myself like a 85 to 90% out of 100.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So this sounds like you're very confident in your skills, though.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that, trust me, through time, it took a lot of practice. Because when I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, at first I was just doing administrative stuff. So I was stuck in the back office, organizing paperwork, filing everything. And then probably 2 years into working at the Boys and Girls Club, they stuck me at the front desk. And at that point, I actually am a Latina girl, and I didn't really grow up speaking Spanish as fluently for whatever reason. As I was growing up, even though I had family that spoke Spanish with me, I was never really confident in it. And then because I became the person that was most able to hold conversation in Spanish by thrusting me into the front desk, and most of the clientele that we had there are Spanish speakers, I got thrown into the fire, but I honestly don't regret it because it really forced me out of my comfort zone. And it really forced me, and it gave me that opportunity. I probably shouldn't use force. That's a poor use of verbiage. I would say that it really empowered me and gave me the opportunity to elevate myself. So I was able to really refine my Spanish speaking skills and my Spanish speaking communication skills. And I was also able to build that sense of confidence when it came to answering phone calls, calling folks, just to check up on them and follow up with them when it comes to how the kids and their children are performing at the Boys and Girls Club, especially if you have like summer camps and whatnot. I definitely credit that as being probably the stepping stone towards helping me become a lot more confident in myself as a person. And then when I entered and transitioned to Microsoft realm, where it was polar opposite, it was from helping out the community and helping out families that couldn't afford to pay $12 a week for transportation for their kids, because we did offer after school transportation. It went from going to that to selling these $700+ computers. So it was quite an awkward transition, I would say. It took me a while to kind of get behind that, but at the end of the day, I try to maintain that same mentality of I'm here to help someone out. If someone is going to benefit more with this $400 computer, just as fine from what they're describing, even though we have this fancy $900 computer, I'm not going to tell them to waste their money on a $900 computer unless they wanted to get it. If it's going to work just as well for them with a $400 computer, then that's by all means what I'm going to recommend them. I want to help people get the tools that need to be successful without feeling like I'm having to drag out of their wallet. That was my biggest undertaking, kind of transitioning from working at a nonprofit to working for a corporation.
Yeah.
But the fact that we had the community program, that we had the CDS position, that we had the mission statement of giving back to organizations by having folks volunteer and by hosting these free workshops, I knew right away that that's what I wanted to do, because that again spoke to when I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, of trying to give back to the community, of trying to empower them as best as I can, and not necessarily paying attention to how much they give towards the company. Because at the end of the day, that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is helping the community feel more empowered by letting them have access to our free services, because we do have those free services and anybody should be able to have access.
Oh, okay.
One more.
Oh, go ahead, Tremaine. Go for it, bud.
Sorry, this is the last one.
It's all right. It's cool.
Absolutely no worries.
Between the Boys and Girls Club and Microsoft, what did you prefer best?
It's very interesting, because the thing is that working at the Boys and Girls Club, it's a very different world. Because keep in mind that with nonprofits, since that's exactly what they speak for, they don't strive to make a profit off of their clientele. They go mostly off of funding from applying for grants, usually within the city or within other organizations. They'll provide grants. That was pretty stressful. I can imagine it being something that my director of operations would constantly have to do. But I, again, found it very rewarding, because even though we were going through that basis, the whole mentality was, again, we didn't really care about if there was a family that couldn't afford to make a payment for like the past week or two. If we were to work with them, we were trying to help make best services that we can by taking care of their kids, making sure that they're fed, and just making it easier overall for the community. With Microsoft, the thing that I like and admire about it is that because we are a corporation, we have so much we can offer in terms of just services, in terms of just ways that we can reach out to the community. And I know that was something that was the biggest challenge for Boys and Girls Clubs, because unfortunately for the greater Boys and Girls Club of America, as with I feel most nonprofits, it's not really distributed equally. So most Boys and Girls Clubs kind of had to fend for themselves in terms for applying for grants and other services, and getting sponsorships. But with Microsoft, because we are basically that type of organization that would benefit with sponsoring nonprofits, I think that that's incredibly powerful in the sense that we have that opportunity to, once again, offer our services by giving back to the community, meaning if it's not just a monetary donation, having workers of Microsoft volunteering for organizations. And we actually have this wonderful program where if somebody volunteers their time, we can match $25 for each hour they volunteer. Or if we submit a monetary donation, so like say for instance, I were to submit $50 to the Boys and Girls Club, they match that amount. So it would be $150 from me and $50 from the company. So it'd be $100 total. And just that, given that ability to be able to offer as much, whether it's a monetary or whether it's just with offering those services, those workshops, then that's night and day. I'm always going to have a special place in my heart at the Boys and Girls Club. It really taught me a lot of patience for kids too, because I was the baby in the family, so I was the one that my family had to deal with. So then when I grew up going to the Boys and Girls Club, having to learn how to be more patient with younger kids, and we took kids as young as 5 years old. So
wow,
it was quite a challenge. And during the summer camps, we had anywhere from like 150 to 200 kids a day from age ranges of as young as 5 to as old as 16, 17.
It's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I am always going to have a special place in my heart working at that Boys and Girls Club. But I do admire the fact that with Microsoft, there's so much more that I can do to give back, including helping out the Boys and Girls Club, which I'm actually trying to work with them to try to see if we can do some workshops, kind of like how I'm doing with the workshops for you guys. And I also want to try to see what we can do in terms of volunteering, because at the end of the day, giving back is the most rewarding thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Monica. Is
You're
Sasha,
welcome.
can you read your? I know, Sasha. Can you read your question?
My question is, who is your mentor?
Ooh.
That's a good question, because it's kind of bounced around. With the years that I've worked at Microsoft, it's kind of bounced around. If I were to have one consistent mentor that I've had, most likely it would definitely be my mother. Believe it or not, my mom actually worked for Microsoft for many years as well.
Oh wow.
Wow.
She was,
This is a very interesting.
right?
Oh yeah.
She was oh gosh, she had been with the company for close to 25 years, and I mean, she's gone through a lot of reorganizations. With any corporation, there's always reorgs, but the last position that she was in was more focused on offering, actually, believe it or not, offering grants to organizations. So she actually did do a grant to the Boys and Girls Club I worked at 7 years ago. It was around the time that I was there. And then she
Wow.
also had a great personal relationship with that Boys and Girls Club. That's why I was able to develop that relationship too. But I would say she's probably my most consistent mentor through it all, because I've had plenty. Like I've had store managers or assistant managers who worked above me that would try to guide me to that. The one who really guided me to the leadership role was probably my old store manager from Glendale. Her name was Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that really taught me what it was like to be a leader, and really taught me to listen to and take care of the customer first, even if that meant going against what the rule books were. Because sure, we have a certain set of policies and standards, but if we can help the customer happy, even if it involved not really going by the book, she was always an advocate for making the customer happy. So she was also a really great mentor for me too. She really, really helped me learn how to be a leader. And then I would say right now, my current mentor is probably Carla, believe it or not, since she's the yes, and she's helping me undertake all this for her while she's doing all the virtual graduation. I would say Carla is also a pretty great mentor for me.
Oh wow. All right, our next one is Lisa. Hey, Lisa, read your question out, Lisa.
Next, Kitty, Monica.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's my old cat.
Hello.
That's Tom. He's 21 years old. I've had him since I was 8.
Wait, hold on, you have a cat there?
I do. He's right
Where?
here.
Oh my, can we see this feline beast? Wow, he's magnificent. Yeah, we're also big pet lovers here, so wow. And he's 21?
He's 21.
Dang, that's so cool.
So young.
Oh, I know. I love him. He's my baby boy. His
Oh.
name's Tom.
Oh.
Hold on, Mobot. It's Lisa, then after Lisa is Linda, and then it's Mobot, okay? So Lisa with the Cult Jam, go for it, Lisa.
Hello, Monica. The date of my birthday is what time training did he have to fix Microsoft the problems?
Good question. Good question, Lisa. For that, most of it was learning from my peers. So when I started working at the Glendale store, the unfortunate thing with that store was that we were a lot smaller than the bigger stores we work at now. And we didn't really have any certified techs at that location because we just didn't have the room or the staffing for it. But I had quite a few coworkers who already were very tech savvy. And because we had a lot of different Microsoft stores for pretty far out, even when we had the specialty stores, it was like we were in Glendale, the next closest one was the one I work at in Century City, which it's not exactly close. That's still like a 22, 25-mile drive. So what my coworkers would do is they would do the best to try to solve those tech issues for customers if we could. So a lot of it, honestly, was me learning from my teammates. So a lot of them taught me how to check for updates, how to update drivers, how to uninstall, reinstall drivers, how to basically wipe a computer out in 5 seconds versus doing the traditional reset, which can take up to an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of it was my coworkers, and a lot of it was learning from their skill sets and picking from their knowledge. There is a formal training program, and we do formally have service advisors. So they actually do go through the training of troubleshooting and using different tools. But before we were given that tool set to really maximize on our troubleshooting efforts, it was mostly me learning from my teammates. Whenever I would have an issue and a customer would come up being like, hey, I don't know what happened, but my computer can't turn on, or hey, I don't know what happened, but I have this document and it froze and now I can't find it. So if I couldn't solve it for them there, I would usually turn to one of my teammates, and they usually would jump in. They would resolve the issue, but as they were resolving the issue, they would show me the steps, just so that if that were to happen again with another customer, then I could take care of them next time. So I would honestly say my biggest resource for learning how to troubleshoot and fix any sort of issues we had, my team.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
So, do you recycle the chargers for the computers,
We do actually. Yeah, we recycle a lot of things. We recycle the chargers, old laptops. I think we've even recycled like old keyboards and whatnot. But at the store that I worked at in Glendale, we didn't officially recycle it because we didn't have the bin. Luckily, though, in the one in Century City, we actually have a recycling bin so that we can recycle it ethically.
And how do you actually convince your neighbors to actually recycle e-waste?
I mean, it usually is depending on any customers that come in. The only times that I've mostly seen us recycle, like the thing we recycle the most at the store, honestly, is the Surface Pro chargers, because for whatever reason, when we released the Surface Pro, what was the last one? The Pro 6, Pro 5, I think both of those, there was a lot of customer issues where the chargers were either fraying, and there was a handful, very isolated, but still those instances where they would like spark up. And really? That's dangerous. So immediately take the charger from the customer. We would take care of them. If they were in warranty, we would exchange the unit for them, and those we would have to dispose of in the e-waste bin. So typically what we were recycling was whatever customers would bring into the store. If they had like an old device they didn't need and it had no value, or if they had something like that that was unfortunately a hazard to the customer, we would take it and we would dispose of it properly.
And how does the customer actually get a new charger?
Well, typically the policy with Microsoft is that if it's within a year, there is a year warranty for most of our accessories, and the charger is considered an accessory, unless if you buy the Surface Pro and you get the extended warranty to it. The extended warranty typically covers any sort of manufacturer or even accidental damage you have on your unit. And because there's a charger that comes with it, the warranty actually technically covers the charger in there. So you could technically have 2 years coverage on the charger by itself. Alone, again, it only has 1 year warranty. Typically, in my instance and in my experience, because I have personally seen many instances where we've had to recycle, unfortunately, or exchange the Surface Pro chargers. That kind of comes into play what I was talking about earlier when Sunshine was teaching me how to make the customer happy. Sometimes, if it's out of warranty, we would just tell them to buy a new one. But if they're like out of warranty, like 1, 2, 3, even 4 months, I just change it. I exchange it for them, no charge.
How do you get one of the when a person actually does, a person actually recycles a computer or laptop, how do you get what is the personal information?
Got you. So actually what our technicians do, because even when a customer comes in with a device that is going to get recycled, they'll actually even do this on the tech bench because we do have a tech room where we do back of house services. But what a technician can do is actually with the customer present, we actually have a toolkit where when we put in that toolkit into the device, it essentially is uninstalling the software and completely reinstalling the software. And in that process, you can choose to delete everything on the hard drive. So there's partitions for the hard drives. In that same tool of uninstalling and reinstalling Windows 10, you can delete everything right there. And it just wipes everything clean. It removes the OS and it reinstalls it fresh. So it's basically factory new. So that's the fast way that I learned how to reset a Windows device. But the technicians typically take care of that. They ensure that the customer understands, like, hey, do you have any information in here that you want to save? Let's make sure it gets saved, because otherwise, once we wipe it clean, it's gone for good. So obviously with the customer's permission, if they say, no, it's clean, I don't need anything, then the technician will then at that point remove everything that's on the device and uninstall and reinstall Windows, and then it can get recycled afterwards. Because that's something that we always do. We want to always ensure our customers' data is never compromised or anything of the sort. So that's one thing that technicians do per compliance, and they always maintain that cadence of making sure their customer understands and making sure that everything's removed when it needs to be removed.
Thank you.
All right, the next one we had is from Linda. Where's Linda? Linda, would you be so kind to read your question out? Dramatic pause. Oh my. Let's see here. Hold on, she's focusing right now, doing her thing. Let's see here.
Gotcha.
There you go, Linda. Here, want me to? Oh, there, Linda's on.
What is your career doing to be more eco-friendly?
Ooh.
So one step that we're taking, since I know Lisa had asked before about recycling, that's definitely one major step that we're doing, because versus just having batteries and having electronics kind of get disposed of willy-nilly to go in like landfills, we have this way in which it's disposed of in the more eco-friendly process. I wish I knew the entire details with that, but I'll definitely try to follow up with that so I could be a little bit more, speak to it better. Another thing that we're doing, we do have a trade-in program called Recycle for Rewards. So we actually do encourage customers, if they have, let's say they have a Pro 4 or Surface Pro 5, and it's the device that they're using to upgrade. We offer is through our Recycle for Rewards program. We praise the device, we see the device has any sort of value to it. Typically, the values are going to be at a fraction of what the customer may pay for, but they'll still get something out of it that they can use towards a new device. And then any device that goes through the R4R program, Recycle for Rewards program, we have them go through a process. We have them fill out a forms acknowledging that they're relinquishing their device to get recycled for a certain amount of credit towards their new device. So basically, all those devices specifically get sent out to one warehouse where they're able to handle disposing of the device. I think they just take out any device parts that they can reuse, and everything else they dispose of economically to make sure that it's, again, not going in a landfill, that it's handling its purpose of going and getting disposed of properly. And then the third thing too would be we're always trying to encourage customers to digitize everything, especially our business customers. We have quite a few business customers that come in and they're still kind of old school. They have like the file cabinet and paper type thing. And by recommending them go for something like, for instance, Surface Pro, where if they have any documents, it can all be digitized. They don't have to print it out anymore and sign it and scan it and send it out. Now everything could be reviewed on the device, signed on the device, and sent out electronically. That way it really eliminates the need for papers, period. So like for me, working on my device from home, I don't really have any external papers or pens or anything that I use. I have all my notes and everything typed out electronically. That way, that's another good cadence to trying to make sure that I eliminate my my paper waste and whatnot. But yeah, I would say those are the three biggest things. So the e-waste that we use, kind of tying back to what Lisa had asked earlier, the incentive that we have for our customers with the Recycle for Rewards program, where they get money out of the devices that they trade in to get disposed of properly. And then now having our customers see the value of having everything digitized so that it doesn't diminish their work, but it just lessens their load. And then it allows them to work more efficiently and also allows them to cut back on paper waste.
Wow, that's pretty sweet. Do you have another question, Linda, or no?
I wrote it, but then I accidentally deleted it.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to come back to you, Linda?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Mobad. Mobad, it's your time to shine, bud.
Hi, Monica. How are you?
Good, and you, Mobad?
Good. I want to know, does the customer just come to the store, do they look, or they buy a lot?
It depends. So typically when the customers come into our store, I'll admit especially during the weekends, a lot of the customers that come to our store are kids, because usually they're not in school, or especially after school, and we have a whole bunch of like Xboxes and PCs set up, so a lot of kids will come play. Another good chunk of our customer clientele base are customers who are having issues with their computers. So if they need to visit a technician or have their device checked in or their data recovered, then that probably comprises a good amount of our customers. The other part of it too, there are customers that come in, they're just like, hey, I've been researching this computer. I need to use it for work, or I need to use it for myself. Can I buy it today? And usually those are the easy sells because they come in already with an intent. But the other chunk of customers are the ones that are just kind of coming in, they're browsing, they're perusing. Sometimes they'll say like, oh yeah, like I'm looking for a computer. And sometimes they'll say they're typically not looking to buy that day. And so we'll let them know like, all right, well, absolutely. But do you have any questions about any of the devices now? So then that kind of opens up room for dialogue to ask more questions. Like, okay, so are you looking for a computer? What is it that you're looking for? What do you want to do with it? So me as a product advisor, I would just showcase the devices that I think they might like. I have them play it out for a little bit. Sometimes the customers will play it out on their own and just play with it. And they'll just say, okay, well, I'll let you know if I have more questions. And not every single interaction that we have in that instance leads to a sale. The intent with that is that, hey, if you're not looking to buy a computer, that's totally cool. If you're looking to just shop around and you're still deciding between either getting a Surface or getting a Mac, because we've got quite a few customers who'll come in and be like, hey, I might get a MacBook Air, but I also might get a Surface Pro, so I just want to know the difference. Can you tell me the difference? And after giving them a demonstration and kind of showcasing the devices that we sell, if they're not buying right away, they'll usually say like, oh, okay, well, this is actually really cool. I'm actually pretty interested, but I want to try out the MacBook Air just to know for sure. And would say like, yeah, absolutely. Like, definitely come back. Like, you want to make sure you're investing in the right device. Because for me, like what I say, when it comes to computers, they're expensive enough where it's an investment that you want in the long term. And you want to invest in something that you know is going to be reliable and you know you're going to use often to kind of justify the amount that you're investing in. And since Surface products and Mac products tend to be more on the premium side, they want to make sure that what they're getting fits their needs. So I would say probably that comprises maybe 35% of the customers that walk in, maybe 40. That's probably underthrowing. I would probably say 40% of the customers are just either perusing through, they're just kind of looking at our devices like, oh, sometimes they come in and they're just like, I didn't even know you guys had a store. I didn't know Microsoft didn't have a retail store. Like, this is the first time I've come in. So we just try to welcome in, be like, hey, welcome. Yeah, this is the Microsoft store. Have you checked out our Surface? Have you heard about X and Y? Oh, no. And then we'll ask them, do you want me to show you some stuff? If they say yes, we'll kind of walk them through the process and walk them through what devices and services we have. If they say no, just looking, then we'll just kind of invite them like, sure, like if you have any questions, let me know. I definitely would recommend you check out this device, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and they're usually pretty appreciative of that. But yeah, the other big chunk is definitely customers coming in for having their devices getting troubleshot by our technicians, and then a good amount of kids coming in playing Fortnite on our computers.
And another thing, if the computer is expensive, do you give them discount? How do that work?
Absolutely, great question. So typically, most of
Because
the
I was
times that we
thinking to get a computer, and I wanted to
Okay.
know what is the best computer. So I want to know if I could get a discount or not if I was a customer.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I know that on Wednesday we're offering a class. Mark and I are talking about offering a class this Wednesday about buying a computer. I would definitely recommend taking that because we're going to be talking about some of our Surface products, which are our first family products. But we absolutely do offer discounts. So every now and then, if we have like a campaign, like let's say graduation campaign, which actually there might be sales going on for computers right now because it's graduation season. Typically, sometimes our Surface devices will be anywhere from like $100 off to $200 off. The highest I've seen go is like $300 off for like insane holiday deals. They've gone to like $500, but that's for specific devices, not for all devices. But typically for campaigns, we do have sales in that respect for our Surface devices. If we don't have any sales, we do offer a 10% student discount. So if you're a student, whether for any institution, whether it's for younger education, middle education, higher education, if you're a student, then that's a great incentive program that we offer too. And fun fact, if you were to go on our Microsoft website and you were to go under the Microsoft Education, which is going to be for if you work at a school or if you're a student, you'll automatically be shopping devices that already give you that 10% student discount. So we do offer discounts. But if we don't, I would definitely recommend look out for those sales that we have. Usually the sales that we have are better than the student discount.
And now I have
Mobile, let Monica finish and then you go again. Okay. That's cool.
All right.
Yeah, the last thing I just wanted to drive home there because there would be customers saying like, hey, you have a couple of discounts going on. Can I have all of them stacked? Because of our system doesn't allow us to have multiple discounts stacked on top of each other. Rarely, but usually it's either one or the other. So that's why I say look out for the sale prices because typically the sale prices give you a deeper discount than the student discount.
Okay, and another thing, when is the current 19, do you guys have do customers buy on the website? Is it busy?
Ooh, yes, it's a good mixture of things. I would say since we launched our buy online pickup in store program, because we just launched that probably like maybe 2 years ago, so it's brand new. We've always had the option to buy online available at any point. So if you actually order your devices online, it's going to be basically the same as buying it in store. You just have the convenience of it getting shipped to your house. The other thing that we launched too, because a lot of customers were talking about, well, if I order a computer and I'm not at home, and if I'm not at home at the wrong time, there's the chance that something might get stolen or something might get taken. So what we launched is our buy online pickup in store program, which will give you the option to buy the computer you want and go through the whole process of just having the transaction done online. And then on our end in the store, you'll see that there's an alert from a customer. Sorry about the dogs, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
We'll see that there's a customer that they've purchased something. We'll put the product aside, email the customer that it's ready, and the customer will literally just come in, be like, here's my order number. Okay, here's your device. Have a good day. So that's another thing that we do too. So I would say there was a lot more customers doing that than buying in store, especially this past holiday season. Because, you know, when trying to get to the mall can get pretty packed. And I know for me personally, working in retail, parking can be very challenging and the traffic can be extremely challenging. So a lot of customers, to avoid that, have been ordering online or just making their transaction as quick as possible by placing an order on our website and then when they go to the store, they pick it up and they're done. So it's a good mix, but I would say online is starting to become a little more popular.
And I have another question. What do you have to do exactly if you work there? What do you have to do besides helping customers?
For me, most of what we do is entirely customer focused. When it comes to like other administrative things that I do, with working with Carla, I usually help her with the logistical planning. So if we have a workshop, making sure that on my end, I'm able to input the information for the workshop so that it's on our store website. And also trying to drive awareness to any customers that come in, or sending out outreach emails to our partners for any workshops that we're having coming in. So I help her with those logistical things. We're always constantly getting training for new material, new services, new products. So every now and then we get time off the floor to focus on learnings and on trainings. But the first and foremost priority for all of us in the store is to take care of every customer that walks through the door. We want to make sure that they're greeted. We want to make sure that they feel welcome. If somebody's playing Xbox and we see like a kid or a customer come in, we can invite them to play with us or to try it out with us. But it's all about just trying to have fun being in the store and trying to make it fun for the customer as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty then. Let me see here. Oh, Tremaine. Yes, Tremaine, please go.
Bye.
Oh, bye. See you later, bud. All right. Oh, Tremaine's taking off. Okay. Wesley.
Nice.
Where's Wesley at?
Right here.
Hey, Wesley, is there a question you'd like to ask Monica of Microsoft?
Sure. What do you like most about your job?
I think my favorite thing about my job is the fact that working at the store, you can have literally any type of customer come in, whether it's a kid and his group of friends coming in after school because they're excited and they want to play Fortnite, or they want to participate in our gaming tournament because we host gaming tournaments, or sometimes even honestly, just the customers that you meet. Like I meet all kinds of customers, whether it's students who I can relate to because I'm still technically a student. I'm trying to go to school for business, and just connecting with the customer and really learning just how sometimes you'll find the similarities of the people that you have with them. Like, hey, you're a student. Oh my gosh, I'm a student too. Like, how's school? How's that? It's just exciting to meet all people from all walks of life in the store. It's just, there's always going to be a story to tell. And even if a customer is coming in not looking to buy, if you were to engage in a conversation with them and you really kind of learn their story, I think that really makes it for an interesting day. For me, I always say that there's never a boring day at Microsoft, even if it's a very slow, boring day at Microsoft, because with the customers that come in, you meet people from all walks of life, and it's pretty unique, in my opinion, to meet all kinds of customers, all kinds of folks, and just kind of seeing where they're coming from and then telling them my story. It really builds, for lack of a better term, that sense of community, which, since that's something that I like to do, I like to work with community. I like to do community outreach. I like to help with offering workshops, and with just interacting with your customers and getting to know your customer, it kind of builds more of a sense of community. And I think that's probably my favorite part.
Oh, excellent. Did you have another question, Wesley, or no?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Wesley, what was the degree you have again? I keep forgetting. I know you got.
You mean the certificate?
Yes, sir.
It's CompTIA A+.
And what is that for again?
It's for hardware and software.
Oh, okay. So, like, you knowing what's inside the computer and how to
and knowing how to diagnose and solve problems, yeah.
Oh, Monica, is there like typical, like, say if someone wants to work for Microsoft, what would you recommend for them to get their feet wet?
I mean, I admire the fact that working in retail, it gives you a lot of different avenues to move up the ladder. But even if let's say retail is not your seek route, you don't want to take that first step.
Yeah.
I know if you were to even look on our website where you can find Microsoft careers, sometimes if you have like the degree for like software engineering or like some sort of technical position, I mean, we do have technical services at the retail store, so that's one way that you can do it if you
Really?
want to be more customer facing. Yeah, so we actually do have techs in our store. So if you want to start with that, that's something that you could do, which it is in the retail setting. But again, your primary goal is to assist customers with troubleshooting their devices.
Oh, okay.
But if you were to go on our website, you could see a whole host of all kinds of other careers that might start not in the retail sector, but more in corporate. Because we have our main headquarters located up in Redmond, which is all the way up in Washington, kind of close by Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't want to go all the way up there, I do know that they have opportunities that are either in offices here in Southern California, or sometimes they even work remotely. So I would definitely recommend checking our website, Microsoft.com/careers.
Oh, okay.
Because careers is focused on our headquarter work. But if you were to do Microsoft.com/jobs, I think that also includes the retail pool. So you could definitely try starting retail if you want your focus to be technical support. You can definitely start with just being a services advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that we do too is that we do our job experiences or career experiences, which it's like applying for a formal job, but if you get approved for it, you get to be in that role, in that position for 3 months, and you basically get to undertake that. And then depending on how your work is, depending on your team, depending on your manager, sometimes that'll be like your foot in to get that job when it comes to working in headquarters. So we have a whole host of things. I would definitely say to get your feet wet, retail is a good start. If retail is not your shtick, which is totally fine because retail can be kind of challenging in and of itself, I would definitely recommend going on our website, Microsoft.com/careers, because they have a whole host of multitude of jobs that don't necessarily start in retail, but will pertain to those skill sets.
Oh, okay. Let's see, Andrea, did you have a question or no?
I sure did, Mark.
Oh my, well, please go.
What is your position at Microsoft?
So for me, I'm officially a consumer product advisor. So my main role is to help customers that walk in find the right device that they want to get for themselves, whether it's for using it for school, using it for work, or using it for personal usage. Product advisor, that's basically been the title that I've had for the longest time. When I was in Glendale and I got the leadership role, I became a key holder. And like I mentioned before, when I was talking about my store manager, Stephanie Sunshine, she had me lean more into a leadership role. So it was more me guiding my team to making sure that they felt empowered to help those customers with finding the right solution. So on paper, that's my prime goal, is to help out customers finding the right device. But the nice thing too that I like about working the store that I'm in is the fact that I can work in other branches. So we have an education specialist, we have a business specialist, we have a cloud technical expert, we have Carla, the community development specialist, we have a gaming expert. So you can really hone in and help that member of the team. And since they are aware that I have more of a passion for community, even though when I'm in store, I'm there to help sell, help the customer get the right solution, whether it's getting a device, whether it's getting a subscription for Office or Microsoft rather now, or even just have them be aware and have fun with their products, is I have my attention drawn in to assisting with community outreach and with doing those workshops. So on paper, I still just sell computers, but because I'm working with a team that does a whole variety of things, I've allowed myself to not only maintain the leadership role and taking care of customers as best as I can, like when I did in Glendale, but I'm also supporting my community team as well.
Oh, okay. Did you have another question on there or no?
No, that was it.
Oh, I have a question. Like, so here's like before the pandemic hit, I remember we would our computer learning class in Inglewood off of Hyde Boulevard. We would come visit, the Century City location, and we'd take like a Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, introduction class. But once this pandemic hit, well, we're stuck on the computer. So how have you managed this weird new world of the digital world?
Ooh, that's a great question because it is undoubtedly, and I think when we were having our meeting earlier, Mark, that was something that we kind of mentioned about how we feel like we're working more. I feel a lot busier now kind of working from home than when I did in store. Because the thing with in store is because my attention always has to fall on the customers walking through the door, even if I'm working on a task, if I'm not given permission to solely work on that task aside, and I'm just doing something small that I'm doing on the sales floor and a customer comes in and no one else can help them, I have to drop what I'm doing and I have to assist the customer. So the thing with that is that it really detracted from me being able to finish certain tasks. Eventually I would get them done, but versus getting them done in one go, I'd have to get them done at my pace. But whenever I notice a customer come in, stop what I'm doing and take care of the customer's needs first. But working from home, it's vastly different because I'm not necessarily out there selling computers anymore. So because that's not the environment we're in, we're kind of placed into different groups of what we do in the store. For me, my group is focused on community. And so what I do is I help with organizing the events, posting them on our store website, doing outreach with our partners so that we can see what classes we can offer next. Scheduling the people on our team to making sure that not only do they understand and know the content, that they're able to deliver those workshops as well in a timely manner. And then just making sure that we help promote our programs as well. That way we can really drive home to folks who are stuck at home and on a computer that, hey, if you don't want your kid to be stuck just playing Fortnite all the time, if you want them to maybe branch out and meet new people, they can build that sense of community by joining these workshops and like working together and building those team leadership skills or the team player skills by just having fun and doing our workshops. So it's transitioned quite a bit. My day is mostly comprised of a lot of logistical planning, a bit of outreach, and quite a bit of learning too. And again, I have that flexibility because since I'm no longer in the store, I no longer have to be mindful of my tasking by having it be separate because I have to have my attention on my task, but I also have to have my attention on any customer that comes through the door. So I kind of had like my attention was somewhat divided even when I was doing tasks. Working from home, I have my undivided attention on everything on my computer and I get it done in a timely manner and I get it done quickly and I would say more efficiently too.
Oh, well, let me ask you this one. Like, in your opinion, how do you try to avoid burnout?
That's a great question. Yes. I mean, that was something else we were also talking about. Too.
So note the word I said try,
Yeah, I know. Which is a very big keyword right there.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest effort for trying is what I try to do when I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock.
Yeah.
For me, I work every Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I'll still sometimes get emails like from parents or folks like emailing me after the clock. The way that I see it as is that when I'm out, I'm out. Once I clock back in, then I can get back to work. So believe it or not, Carla had to teach me this too, because when I started to help her out with her tasks, I started to respond to her messages before I was on the clock even after I punched out the clock. And she would have to tell me, Monica, you're not working. Enjoy the rest of your day. So it's kind of building that diligence of working only in the times that you're working. And then when you're off the clock, just having your you time. Because if you think constantly about work too much and you have your attention focused on work even when you're not working, then it kind of wears down on time. So just remembering to give yourself a moment to do what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, And if you need a vacation, like even if it's a couple of days or a week, then take that time for yourself.
Yeah, thanks. Because I mean, again, we're stuck in this. You know, we're like a bird. We're stuck in a cage, and we
Yeah.
fly out every once in a while. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should have spread.
Oh, Jackie, you had a question, right, Jackie? Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, Jackie.
It's some technology. I have a question. It's are you guys a member of ASUS computer or laptop?
You mean a company?
Oh, we don't produce them, but because they have Windows 10, we do sell some Asus computers. I don't remember which ones we sold, to be honest, but I think we sold 1 or 2 of them in our store. And
Awesome.
if we don't have them in our store, we have them online. The thing that's kind of saddened me the most about working with Microsoft for so long is that I noticed that because our first party products are Surface, you see a lot more advertisement and resources dedicated towards marketing those and less on the third party devices. So even though we sell Dell, HP, Lenovo's, Asus, Acer, we don't really have a lot of them available since they're technically not our product, but we still offer them because they have Windows 10 when the software is our product, but not the hardware.
Oh, okay. Do you have another question, Jackie?
It's follow up.
Oh, go for it.
What's the best pens, smart pens to use? Because I have a computer has touchscreen and the flip one.
You mean a pen or
Smart pen.
oh, what's that?
Like the digital pens, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know that I'm trying to remember the brand names. I know Bamboo made some pretty good pens.
Do you have it?
I think we might have had one in our store. I think we had the Bamboo ink. If not, we had another Bamboo. I think on our website, if you go to the website Microsoft.com, try to look up the Bamboo pen, because I know that was one that we had, and there was a couple of different ones, and I think I remember specifically selling to a younger gentleman who was like a amateur digital artist, and he had researched one Bamboo pen, but we had the one that was a little bit more sophisticated, and he ended up buying it, even though it was a little more expensive. But try researching Bamboo, because Bamboo's got some pretty good hardware, and I know that their hardware is intent to work with digital screens. The only thing that I would want to recommend you making sure is that it's compatible with your device. So as long as your device is touchscreen and has Windows 10,
Yeah, it does.
I think that perfect. So if it's touchscreen and has Windows 10, the Bamboo devices do work with those devices. So I'd definitely check that one out.
Okay. I guess I just need to buy batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one thing to remember too.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah.
Let's see. Zelaya had an interesting question earlier. And Zelaya, let me see if I can try to ask you right, okay, buddy? Are you still there, Zelaya? I mean, Jose. I'm looking at your last name there. Jose, you still there?
Oh,
Hold on here. Well, I'll ask Jose's question. Which is the worst, like out of your whole career, which is the job you like least?
Oh.
Like out of your whole career, you know, like that's what he trying to ask.
Yeah. Oof. I really don't have a job that I didn't like that much. Believe it or not, I did work for something else while I was working at the Boys and Girls Club before I started working for Microsoft. I actually worked for the Pasadena Convention Center for probably about 2 years. And I don't want to say I didn't like it because I did get to see a lot of cool stuff. Like I got to work at the Civic Auditorium when we had the Imagen Awards, which was like the American Celebrity Awards. So I got to see like Martin Cheech and all that, and all these celebrities. So there were some pretty cool events that we worked. The thing that I didn't like about it though was that if you're working a section and you have to stay in one spot for like an hour with people. And for me, I like to be on my feet and I like to be moving around. So what I didn't like was if I were to work an event and I'm stationed at one spot, and I had to stay at that one spot directing customers or asking questions for customers for like 4, 5, 6 hours. And me being the very highly energetic person that I am, I can't stay in one spot for too long. So that was probably, like I said, I worked a lot of cool events, but that was probably my least favorite just because I felt like I had to be stuck in one spot for way too long.
Oh, well, because your feet would hurt right after standing in one spot, right? And you have to wear like the right
Exactly.
type of shoes, maybe even the right type of mat, right? Oh, geez.
Yeah, I remember having a coworker that she had to buy not only like a specific type of shoe with insoles, but she actually ended up buying like a cushion mat. Whenever she would work, she had to stand on it because she's just like, you know how many hours I stand here for 7 hours. And she was an older lady. She would always complain about that, which it's standing on your feet for so long, it definitely wears you down. Obviously you get like a 15-minute break where you can sit down for a little bit, take a drink of water. If you need to go to the bathroom, you could, but just standing in one spot for so long, that became exhausting really quick.
Oh, wow. We'll start wrapping up pretty soon, people, okay? I know Lisa had a question, but let me rephrase your question, Lisa, okay? Actually, yeah, go for it, Lisa. Go. That's what you got.
Yeah, how do you scan the receipts and put them in your order file?
That's a good question, Lisa. So there's a couple ways you can do that. I think there's an app. I need to see if that app is still available, but we actually have an app called Office Lens, which is a Microsoft application. If you were to take a picture, I actually used this a couple of times when I was at work. If you take a picture with Office Lens of your receipt, and sometimes you know how it doesn't come out perfect, it reads the receipt, it recognizes it, it auto adjusts it so that it kind of straightens out. And if I'm not mistaken, it either saves as a PDF or it saves as a picture. So then if you use Office Lens, you get to take that picture of the receipt and it just auto adjusts it for you. And then if you want to add it onto your Word document, then you could. So try Office Lens because that's what I used when I went to a couple of business trips, like what was it, 3 years ago? And when I was getting some food expensed because they were expensing stuff for me, one of my assistant managers, believe it or not, had told me about use Office Lens, take a picture of the receipt, it'll auto adjust it for you, so it'll auto straighten it for you, and then you can download it or save it and insert it into a Word document.
Oh, okay.
This way I could actually get one on paper.
Yeah, so
yeah,
the good thing with Office Lens is that it's a free app. So with that one, you don't have to pay.
All right. Let's see.
What the app is?
Thank you.
Oh, the app is called Office Lens.
Thank you.
Let's see. I have another question.
Including pictures too.
Oh, that's what it does. It does pictures as well.
Including the old pictures.
Make sure I have it. So I'm just checking my phone right now to make sure that it's still called Office Lens. Yeah, Microsoft Office Lens. So it saves it as a PDF. It's a PDF scanner. But with that, if you take a picture of a document or a receipt, instead of you having to adjust it at a specific angle, it'll already auto adjust it. That way it looks like everything's digital. So try that app. That's actually a great app.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions or no? I have two more, but I want to ask. Are you good, Andrea? All right. Look at everyone's.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah. Yes, go, Miss IG lady. Yeah, go ahead.
The question is, is it physical, mental, or both?
Oh, you're talking about the day? Like, is your job kind of like mostly physical where you have to pick stuff up? Mental,
Yeah.
your mind's running all day? Or is it a little, half and half?
I would say it's a good mix, probably a little bit less on the physical. There actually is a specific position in our store. We have an inventory manager or inventory expert who, whenever we get like shipment or anything of the sort, they're usually the one doing most of the heavy lifting. If they need support, sometimes they'll like pull me or another product advisor to help them, or if we're moving furniture around and setting up our theater for a gaming tournament or setting up our theater for a workshop, then we would probably do that, a lot of physical activity and movement. But I would say it's mostly mental. The physical is probably, for me, typically like no more than 30%. And it's usually nothing too heavy, because if anyone suspects that I'm lifting anything too heavy, there's usually somebody who's a little bit taller and stronger than me, because I'm only 5'2", so I'm a little bit on the lighter side. And even though I can lift pretty heavy stuff, if they see somebody who's a little bit more heavy built, they'll usually ask them to lift the heavy stuff.
Okay. Did you have another one, Jackie, or no?
I do.
Okay. All right, Mobile, what do you got there, sir?
Monica, what's your strength and what's your weakness?
Oh my, that's a.
Ooh, that is a tough question. Wow. I would say that my strength is being able to listen and understand customer concerns and needs whenever it gets kind of intense. Because one thing that I had to learn quickly when I started to become a leader in Glendale was I was the person that customers who were angry with whatever we were doing came yelling to.
Mhm.
So I had to learn how to be listening and receptive of customers' instances. And even if they had like a bad experience from another manager and I was the next one in their shoes, or the manager had to go on lunch. And this has happened a couple of times where I would take over, I would listen to the customers' concerns, and I would find the solution being like, okay, I hear you, let's just do this. And they'll tell me, thank you for listening. So I think for me, my biggest strength is listening to a customer and really trying to understand the issue that they have. Because if you listen to a customer, then you can provide the best solutions for them. My weakness, probably, I do a lot of things at once. I multitask, and sometimes I'll get so excited with one task that I won't give the opportunity to finish another task. So if I have way too many tasks going on, I'll usually try to multitask, and I notice that I usually run into a higher chance of missing a step with the task that I'm supposed to do because I'm doing too much. So my biggest thing is learning a little bit better organization. Actually, with working remotely, I've learned a lot of organization skills, thankfully, which has helped me with that, because that's probably my biggest weakness is tasking too much and not focusing on one thing. I just undertake so many tasks that I overwhelm myself, and sometimes I miss a couple steps. And I want to make sure that I do everything in a timely manner, correctly, and stress-free.
Oh, okay.
And how many workers is in the stores?
I think right now, I think right now we have 35 people employed. That includes our store manager, our 4 assistant managers, our technicians. We have a couple people who do inventory management, the product advisors, which we also have a gaming expert who's still technically a product advisor. We have a cloud technical expert. We have a couple of business experts, education expert, community experts. Trying to think what else. A learning specialist who's the one that helps onboard and teach our staff and our team whenever there's new content. So I think we have roughly 35 people in our store, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, I didn't realize there was that many people.
Right? There's a
right.
lot.
Oh, wow. Do you have any more questions, Mobot, or no?
No, I hope you be safe, Monica.
All right. I got 2 more.
You too, guys.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm still here.
How you handle COVID-19 post-tasting and loop in Microsoft?
The good thing with that is that I know things are still kind of up in the air, and certain things are opening up and whatnot. And I know the Apple Store, I think some of the Apple stores are opening up too. There's still kind of an uncertainty about when we're going to open up our physical store. I think the thing that I admire and I commend with our senior leadership team is that they're trying to be conscientious. They're trying to follow health experts' advice. They've had a couple of meetings with us discussing what it might look like once we finally open up, so that we can not only ensure that we're still doing the best service that possible, but that we're also taking into account the health and safety of our customers and our employees. So the one thing that I admire the most is that they're still keeping that in the forefront, that the health and safety of the customers and of the employees is still the top priority. So we still don't have anything definitive in terms of when we're going to open up the stores and what that's going to look like. I know that they mentioned having cleaning the store constantly, providing face masks to customers and to our employees, and gloves and sanitation, and making sure that everything stays clean. So I know they've implemented some measures, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when we go back, but they're not throwing us into that yet, because again, they want to make sure everything's okay. They're still paying attention to everything that's happening with the second wave possibly coming, with the increase in cases that we're having, with everything slowly but surely opening up. So they continue to stress to us that, hey, it's not going to be anytime soon. We will have a meeting and we will discuss a proper game plan once we do make that transition back into working in the stores. But right now they're still trying to prioritize our health and the customer's health. So they're still maintaining watch of what's going on and what health experts say.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll ask one more question then. So, and this is one of the participants asked earlier before they left. Can you refer us to another person that can give us some more insight for this career in the future?
Oh, I would say, yeah. Honestly, if the good thing about with Microsoft is that everybody in the team is very flexible and very welcoming of connecting with one another, and really offering their support in terms of having them understand what their role is like. And usually the nice thing about that is that they'll usually say, like, how can I help you get there? My best recommendation, LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Use LinkedIn, build your profile, and connect with people, even message people that you notice, like,
hello? Uh-oh. I think we froze here.
Did we kill the Wi-Fi?
Oh, no, we're good. Like, Andrea, are you there, right, Andrea?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Monica froze for a second. Hold on here. Let's wait.
What happened? Your face froze?
Yeah. Hold on here.
This morning I was unable to have my coffee.
No worries, Andrea. We're going to be wrapping up right now. We're seeing what's going on with Monica.
Oh no! Somebody unplugged the AC.
Oh, hold on. We're still recording, people. But
Oopsie.
no, it's all right. It's cool. We're just seeing what's going on. Huh.
Damn it! Somebody unplugged the AC in the backyard. Oh.
And Jerry, we're still
Wait,
recording.
Wait, hold on. I think we lost Monica. Were you there, Monica?
I think I just got back. Sorry, my
right.
Wi-Fi decided to hiccup a little bit.
No, you froze for a second, and we heard you mentioned the part where basically LinkedIn is a great resource for them to look up and build their profile and talk to them. Pretty much seek out people to look for.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to say thank you, Monica, and I need to delete this.
No, yeah, we're gonna end up right now. Let's thank Monica for coming on. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
I appreciate you coming in and give us a little chat.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm really happy to answer all your questions. I hope I got you excited about the future would hold with anything, because even if you guys don't look at Microsoft directly as a potential employer, I mean, most of these skill sets could virtually apply at a good amount of tech companies. But one thing that I would really say, if anything, that last question that Mark asked about how to connect, LinkedIn, build your profile, network that way. Networking in any career is probably the number one goal for success.
All right, let's always everybody say yeah. Thanks to Monica. Let's give it a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Hey, Monica. I'll talk to you guys here. We'll see Monica later. We'll see Monica on Wednesday for our class.
I'll be there.
Yay.
And then the rest of you guys hang in for a bit. So thanks, Monica.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.